Good afternoon or good morning, everybody, and welcome to the InduSoft webinar, Andon Applications for InduSoft Web Studio. First and foremost, I would like once again to thank each one of you for your presence today, for taking the time for the webinar, and for all your business. InduSoft keeps growing, increasing market share, and that's thanks to the collaboration with each one of you. So thank you very much for your business, and hopefully this webinar will help all of us to continue on the right track. My name is Fábio Terezinho. I divided the presentation in four main areas. First, a brief introduction about Andon in general and the main characteristics of InduSoft Web Studio that makes it an ideal solution for Andon applications. Then I'll show a couple of case studies demonstrating real-world applications created by system integrators, OEMs, using InduSoft Web Studio to create and deploy successful Andon applications. And then I will show the tutorial, the template, the Andon template created by InduSoft as a product that is available on the market for customers that want to deploy an Andon application with minimum efforts and maximum functionality. Finally, I'm going to open for Q&A. So if any one of you have any questions, feel free to write them at any moment on the WebEx bar on the top of your monitor. You can either use the chatting box or the Q&A box, and just write your questions, and I will address them once the main presentation is finished. With that, let's get started with the introduction. So, in general, Andon is defined as a manufacturing term referring to a system that notifies management, maintenance, and other works of a quality or process problem. In other words, the whole idea is to create a system where if a problem happens, the correct person are notified as fast as possible so they can fix the problem as fast as possible and minimize the downtime and minimize all the costs associated with the downtime, increasing the overall productivity. And what we designed within the InduSoft Web Studio was a generic template for Andon applications, which can provide this functionality with a lot of flexibility for customization from plant to plant, and goes beyond that, providing also reporting capabilities and dashboards so management can analyze the history data and find out areas that require or could be improved, whether it's a specific workstation, a specific line, a specific type of problem. So the system keeps recording all the information, which allows you to measure and make decisions to improve the overall productivity. Andon is the main component of GDOCA quality control, which pretty much is based on the process of detecting the problem, stopping the line if necessary, fixing the problem and restarting the process, and then investigate the reasons. So the template provides all this capability, the ability for operators to detect the problems and stop the line, then fix the problem, and we record all the history, all the information about the whole process, so this data can be investigated in the future to improve the overall process. It's also part of the Toyota Production System, TPS, which nowadays is also known as lean manufacturing. So pretty much one of the modules required to implement and improve lean manufacturing, reducing costs, reducing waste, and being as productive, efficient, and effective as possible in a manufacturing process. So the whole idea of this template is to use InduSoft's capability to create solutions in layers. So at the bottom, as a platform, you have the standard product, InduSoft Web Studio, and we created an application, which is actually a template. It's a generic application that you can run on any station running InduSoft Web Studio, and during the runtime, customize this application to your particular needs. So what I will demonstrate here at the end of the webinar is the Andon template, which is a generic application for Andon users. And as you see, you can customize this application to different plants with different areas, different lines, different users, different products through a very user-friendly interface during the runtime, not having to redesign the application for the customizations. So most of the customization, which is the last level, is made during the runtime. But since it is an InduSoft application, if you want to merge it into your own application and then have a customized, complete, final application, you can do that as well. The template, again, is nothing more than a standard application created with InduSoft Web Studio, but pre-configured for a particular need, which in this case is Andon. We leverage several characteristics of InduSoft Web Studio, like the openness, the idea and the fact that we designed the product to read any data through any network and present this information on any device. So the Andon template application can run on all platforms supported by InduSoft Web Studio full runtime, Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows Server, with very minimal footprint. And the graphical interface, the dashboards, the reports can be visualized from any remote devices, even PDAs, tablets, Android devices, iPads, iPhones, and so on. It also leverages the characteristic to have layers of abstraction in InduSoft. In other words, you can deploy this application in computers with different platforms, with different operating systems. It's very common that when you go to a factory, you have legacy computers running different OSs. The same application, the same InduSoft Web Studio runs on all those platforms, and you do not have to redesign the application or install different versions of InduSoft. If you have to communicate with different PLCs, we have drivers for more than 200 protocols, and you can easily switch from one to another, not having to redesign the whole application. InduSoft can save and retrieve information from any external databases. So this application, this template, is configured to save and retrieve data, history data, for the reports in a database, which by default is Microsoft SQL Server, but you can also easily change the application to save data to Oracle, Sybase, any other database. So again, it's a generic template, but if your conditions change, you do not have to re-engineer the whole application to make it working on other environments. Here again, leveraging the advantage from InduSoft that the application is designed in a single development environment, and once the application is done, you can deploy it to different platforms running different runtime engines from InduSoft. And this particular template has been designed to run with InduSoft Web Studio full runtime with the capabilities of InduSoft running on Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows Server, or even Windows Embedded as well. Again, it can save and retrieve data from any databases. By default, it's configured to exchange data with Microsoft SQL Server, and provides connectivity as well. So not only to PLCs, barcode readers, but many other systems. Like in this template, we have a built-in interface to card readers. So the operators, the technicians, they can scan their cards in any standard RFID reader or barcode reader, whatever it is, to log on to the system faster and in a secure manner. So they do not have to type their username and passwords necessarily. We have communication with remote email servers to send remote notification by email. We have communication with a remote smartwatch server from Schneider Electric smartwatches, so we can send remote notifications, and the technicians, engineers, operators receive the notification directly in their watches, smartwatches designed to receive notifications. Or even through instant messaging, this template has an interface to WeChat, so it can send information to WeChat as well, and customers can receive and stakeholders can receive notifications in their mobile devices using WeChat as an instant messaging tool. Finally, but not less important, we leverage the investment protection that InduSoft brings to you. So since 1997, the first version of the product, we have kept the commitment that we keep evolving the product, supporting new platforms, new capabilities, but keeping 100% of compatibility with applications built in previous versions. So all the investments that you or your customer makes to deploy the Andon application, configure the application, and so on, will not be lost if in the future you decide to upgrade the stations to a newer version of InduSoft Web Studio that supports a newer version of the operating system. So it's all about evolving, protecting your investment. I can show here a few case studies. It's just a small sampling from so many applications created with InduSoft Web Studio, hundreds of thousands, dozens and dozens of Andon applications alone. So this one is automotive production line in Indonesia. So as you see here they collect information in real time, and they display this information in large LCD displays strategically installed in different positions of the plant. So it's one of the many possible interpretations of an Andon application. This other one is interesting because for the thin clients, for the LCD displays, they actually used Raspberry Pis running a web browser that supports HTML5. So it was quite inexpensive and flexible to have several thin clients display information from the system in different stations using, instead of buying a whole computer, running the thin clients on Raspberry Pis with a web browser. So they are using the SMA thin client from InduSoft, even used a 3D printer to design and print the cases for the Raspberry Pis. But pretty much they have one central server running InduSoft Web Studio and several Raspberry Pis connected to LCD displays or monitors, just displaying the information that the server is collecting. So an interesting Andon application as a case study as well. With that, let's talk about the template application that I'll demo here in a few minutes. So the goal for this template was to design a generic Andon module for lean manufacturing digitalization, minimizing the downtime from any process, any plant. The solution was a template designed with InduSoft Web Studio, leveraging all the advantages and characteristics of InduSoft Web Studio we just discussed. And the application has two main modules. It has a setup module where you do all the configuration, define the users, the products, the escalation limits, the shifts, and so on. And once this configuration is done once, then all you use is the Andon operation, the screens where the operators report issues, acknowledge issues, and notify that the issues have been fixed, enter comments, pick reasons, and show dashboards about the operation. The template also follows a physical model based on plant, area, line, and workstation. So the idea is each plant can have several areas like assembling, packaging, raw material, and so on and so forth. And each one of those areas can have several lines, one or multiple lines. And in each line, you can have one or several workstations. And those workstations can be manual workstations with a human being making assembly or any other work, or could be automated workstation with a PLC, with a robot, anything. So the system, the template supports all those variations, and you can very easily, during the runtime, create the areas, the lines, and the workstations, define the physical model for the plant within the template as well. And I'll demonstrate that in a few minutes. This is the architecture of the system in a different view. So you have a central server here running InduSoft Web Studio, which pretty much consolidates information from the whole plant in a single central server. It's also the server to plant dashboards, so large LCD displays that you can strategically installed throughout the plant. And you do not have to install InduSoft in those computers. You can use the thin client solution from InduSoft, so it does not require you to install InduSoft, the application, or the license on the plant dashboard stations, and you can have one or multiple. The server is also the server for remote thin clients, which can leverage InduSoft's mobile access thin client for any mobile device that supports HTML5. So again, managers can visualize online information, dashboards, reports in their iPads, iPhones, Android devices. Or if you want to use a complete PC running Windows with Internet Explorer, you have access to the complete application remotely to configure or view reports, again, dashboards, any interface available in the application. So you install InduSoft on the central server, and you install InduSoft in each line in a station that I call here the line server. It's just a computer running InduSoft and running the same Andon application. And you do not have to reconfigure the settings for each line because all the lines share the configuration from the central server. So the only configuration we have to do on the line is pretty much the IP address of the server. And if you change the configuration on the server, all the lines are automatically updated. And the line can also be a local server to workstations thin clients. So if you want to have a display for each one of the workstations, so in large lines, users, operators do not have to move around to go to the line server and report issues, you can very easily do that as well. It's built in the template. Then, as problems are being reported, the central server is a gateway to send remote notifications, either to smartwatches or to instant messaging system, the WeChat, or via email connecting to an external email server, SMTP server, all leveraging characteristics and features available in the InduSoft Web Studio. So the main characteristics of this template, it's standard. It's one application that can be configured for many different plants. It's portable. It runs on different operating systems. It's scalable. As you saw in the previous diagram, you can have plant dashboards, you can have line computers, you can have workstation computers, and the template automatically filters the information based on the workstation where it's running. It's mobile. You can visualize, access the information from mobile devices using the InduSoft HTML5 thin client. Supports localization. So the current version of the template supports English and Chinese, but it's quite easy to keep adding additional languages for German, Spanish, French, and so on. So the GUI, the graphical interface, can easily change from one language to another, even during the runtime. And interfaces with remote systems, email servers, smartwatch server, instant message servers, card readers, and so on. So with that, I'm going to switch to the actual template application. This is the standard InduSoft Web Studio, so you can see where the application was designed, normal screens, it's a standard InduSoft application. And when I run this application, it looks like this. So this is the layout for the template. As you see here, it supports a multi-language interface. So I can switch here, for instance, to Chinese, and everything is in Chinese. I can switch here on the fly to English, and everything automatically goes to English. So it has multi-language, has also a built-in security system that allows you to protect the application based on user levels. And the two main modules I mentioned is the setup and the Andon. So if you go to setup, you can go here to database settings, and all you have to do here is define the server where the database is installed. In this case here, Microsoft SQL Server Express, which is free of charge. And all the data about the notifications, all the issues reported by the users are automatically stored in this database. And you do not have to manually create the tables, create the columns. Once you point to the database and click on this button, InduSoft automatically creates the database, creates the tables, everything automatically. You don't have to do anything, any database configuration manually. Just point to the server where the database is running. Then you can go to physical location and create the actual physical model for your plant. So I already have several areas, lines, and workstations created here, and I can create additional ones. So I can click here on the plant and create a new area, like area assembly, for example. Then I can select this area and create new lines, like line 1, and I want line 2, line ABC, all the lines that you want to create. Then I can select a line and create my workstations, workstation 1, workstation 2, and so on. So as you can see, in a matter of seconds, you can literally create the module for your whole plant, all your areas, all your lines, all your workstations during the runtime. If you want to rename it, you can easily do that. Just come here and rename this line ABC to line Z, X, Y. Are you sure you want to rename? Yes, and it's automatically renamed. And you can also remove. So if I click here, I remove the assembly area and all the lines and workstations below it. So very easy to add, remove areas, lines, workstations, fully configurable. Same thing for the product settings. You can add, remove product names and codes for performance tracking. Same thing for users. You can customize the same, all the users for the whole application in a single location. So it's very easy for you to come here and create a new user, like, for instance, Mark, and you provide a title, which is fully customizable as well. For instance, General Manager. You select a language. So if I say Chinese, this user will receive remote notification by email, smartwatch, and instant message in Chinese. If I select English, the same user will receive the same remote notifications, but in English, not in Chinese. So you can select the language for each user of preference to receive remote notification messages. ID cards, so if this user has a card, you can define here the number of the cards read by the barcode reader or RFID reader so they can log on with their card. Email address, if any, watch ID, if they're using the smartwatch from Schneider Electric, so they receive the remote notifications on their watch as well. And WeChat ID, if they have a WeChat instant message account, you can define the account name here so they receive the remote notification there. And finally, you can define a physical location. So if I say here, plant, this user will receive remote notification from the whole plant. If I select this area, only from issues reported in this area. If I select this line, only from issues reported from this line on this area. So you can filter what's the area where each user is responsible for. And then just hit apply and the user is created there. As simple as that. Finally, you have the shifts. You can here create new shifts. For instance, shift 3 that starts at 1840 and ends at 2040, for example. So you can create your own shift scheduling and what time is working time, what time is breaking time. So fully customizable for each different customer, each different plant. And then we go to the Andon settings, which are specifically for the remote notifications. So you can define the IP address of your email server, the IP address for your smartwatch server, and the server for your WeChat server to send remote notifications via instant messages. Then you can go to escalation and create as many escalation levels and time as you want. For instance, I can define here a new level, let's say level 7, and say all the people in level 7 will receive a remote notification if the issue is not acknowledged within 120 minutes, 2 hours, And they will also receive remote notifications if the problem is not fixed within, let's say, 240 minutes, 4 hours. So I just created here the level number 7. And obviously, you can modify, you can delete, you can customize any way you want it. You have departments, so you can add new departments here. I have EHS, Logistics, MM, Production, and Quality. You can delete those, rename, add new ones, completely open. Andon titles, same thing. You can add new titles, Technician 1, Technician 2, Engineer, any title you want. And then we have what we call Andon types. So those are the main type of issues. You can use the 5M for quality control, like maintenance, main, material, method, and mother nature. Or you can customize, as I customized here, quality, safety, and you can keep adding as many as you want, or renaming or removing those. Once you have the main types, then you can create what we call Andon issue names or reasons for the problems. For instance, I can create a reason here, material, starving, end of line, and this problem is a material type of problem from the production department. So you can keep creating reasons for the issues. So when someone reports the issues or acknowledges the issues or fixes the issues, they can select the reason. And since you may end up with many reasons, you can optionally filter the reasons that should be available for each one of the lines. So if I just uncheck here those reasons will not be available to this particular line. As simple as that. Finally, for remote notification, you can customize how you want to escalate the notifications. For example, you can say, I want to escalate to level 3, all the maintenance issues to everybody in the production department with the title Logistics Manager. So this is just one escalation level, and as you can see here, you can define as many escalation levels and rules as you want. So everybody from that department with that title will receive notifications according to those rules. And that's it. Once you made this configuration just once, it's valid for the whole plant, and now all you have to do is install InduSoft Web Studio with this application in each one of the line servers, and your complete setup and deployment is done. Then on each one of the lines, you go to the Andon module and click here in Andon operation. That's the screen that is typically open on the line servers. So whenever the operator needs to report an issue, he just selects from one of those tiles the type of issues, which, by the way, you can customize in setup. So this is just the default. You can completely customize the name of the issues here using the setup screen, and you do not have to redesign the application. You do not use the development environment from InduSoft. You do everything from the runtime. So for instance, if I want to report a safety issue, just click here in Safety, select My Line, and report the issue. If I want to make it easier to the user and say, you are always in the line M1L1, all I have to do is say to the system, I am a local station, and I am the local station M1 line 1. So my station is the server for the line M1L1 from the area MCB from the plant SEMW. So now this application filters everything automatically for that particular line. So as you see here, if I want to report another issue, it shows only this line and the workstations under this line. Once I reported the issue, the system starts the escalation level, the remote notification, and when the person responsible for fixing the problem arrives, he or she just clicks here on the notification number, select a reason if they already know the reason for the problem, and then enter a comment. like for instance, okay, scan their badge, and the problem goes to an acknowledged mode. And here, when someone is ready to fix the problem, just click here and actually fixes the problem. If I go to the Andon, let me just go back here to the configuration and enable the plant dashboard. So in the large LCD displays, this particular screen is displayed. So as you can see here, you can see at a glance which lines have problems, the status of those problems, and the types of problems. So right now you see that you have a safety issue, and it's yellow, so it's acknowledged. If I go back here and I report, let's say, a maintenance issue, so I pick this line, this reason, okay, and I go back to the plant dashboard, which typically is being displayed anyway in the large LCD displays. Now I have a red maintenance issue, which has not been acknowledged, and a yellow safety issue indicating this problem is still present but has been acknowledged. So again, can go back here to the operation in this screen, and someone can come here, select the reason of the problem, write the comments like I fixed the issue, changing the part number 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, fix the issue, scan their card, this problem is gone. And same thing here for maintenance. So can acknowledge the problem, and once the problem is fixed, I can write my comments. I can write comments when acknowledging or reporting as well, and then scan my badge, and the problem is gone. So anyone that walks through the line and looks at this screen, they know at a glance that there are no issues whatsoever with this line. And in the plant dashboard, the LCD that's available on the control room, or on the office, on the plant floor, whatever it is, all they see is a smiley face. So if there are no problems, we use the concept here of high-performance HMI and situational awareness. So instead of polluting the dashboard, the screen, with several lines just saying, okay, 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 if there are no problems, smiley face, at a glance, they know there are no problems. If there are problems, we show only the lines that have problems and only the specific problems from those lines. So it's much easier, much cleaner than a typical application where you have all the lines and just change the status, the color based on status, for example. So now if you come here to the dashboard, you can filter the issues by many different ways. Here on the top by the event type, you can also filter based on periods of time, so it can retrieve information from different periods. You can filter by type, you can filter by location, so I want to know only the problems from this line, or I want to see the problems from the whole plant, or from one line, from one workstation. So in this particular filter here, I have a total of 35 issues, and 17 of them are safety, 7 are maintenance, 4 material, and so on and so forth. So it's showing here the number of issues in a Pareto chart in the percentage of problems. So you can see pretty much half of my problems in this particular analysis here are safety issues. I can also click here and visualize the issues, the Pareto, based on the time to acknowledge the problems. So this is the average time in minutes to acknowledge the issues per type. So you can see that in this case, maintenance is the worst one. 86% of the time to acknowledge a problem is in maintenance. And here the time to actually fix the problem. So how many minutes in average it takes to fix a problem per type. So you can see that safety is the type that takes longer to be fixed in this particular, based on this particular data for this particular plant. So you can change the filters here. You can see the data by type of issue, by type of station, line, workstation, area, all the lines, all the workstations. So you can filter and visualize the data any way you want it. Also, you can also, if you see here, for instance, material, you have 4 material issues. If you click on material, we dig in and it show you more details about those 4 issues. When they happened, where they, how long it took to acknowledge the problem, how long it took to fix the problem. And if you want even more details, you just click here in more details, and we show all the information about the problem. So the comments from the user, the station where it was activated, the station where it was acknowledged, where it was normalized, who did it, the IP address from the computer, the timestamp, the users. So everything is logged, and you have all the details about the whole operation, from reporting the issue, acknowledging the issue, and normalizing, fixing the issue, all built in the system. You also have a remote notification history. So as the system keeps escalating the problems to different users, we log all the information here, so you can be certain that, oh, in this particular timestamp, I sent this message to this user using this email address. So you have traceability about who received remote notification for what and when automatically in the system. And you have here export to CSV. So if I click on this icon here, I can actually export it to Excel file. So I can filter based on the period of time or shifts or location, give a name to my report, and then simply click here in Create Report. So it's going to export all the information that I filtered to an Excel report, and I can do that from thin clients as well. So when I click here, it downloads the report, and then I can open in Excel and see all the details about the issues, where they were created, by who, in which station, the time to acknowledge, the time to normalize, the Andon type, the reason for the problem, the stations, and so on and so forth. So all the information about the problems are automatically exported and made available through this simple interface. And since this application is available to thin clients as well, I can open a web browser, type the IP address of the server, log on the system. We have a default password, and then you have access to the whole system. I can navigate here and go to the configuration. I can change the language on each thin client individually. I can change the escalation rules. I can add lines. I can visualize the dashboards. So all the information is available through the thin clients as well. And even the dashboards are available even in HTML5, so you can visualize those dashboards in iPads, iPhones, Android tablets, any computer with or mobile device, any station with a web browser that supports HTML5. So in a nutshell, those are the main capabilities of the Andon template. And as you could see here, I could configure the whole application and operate the whole application without touching the development environment from InduSoft. So it's a complete template that you can run as it is in standalone, or you can merge into your own HMI application for local operation and automatically provide Andon capabilities to your project, to your system. With that, I will open for Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to write them on the WebEx bar at the top of your monitor. Again, you can use either the chat box or the Q&A box, and I'll be more than happy to address all your questions. So let's see here. Can a user be assigned to more than one area? Yes, they can. You have a hierarchical way, and if you have users that are responsible for multiple areas, you can assign the same user to multiple areas. Another question here. can a user be assigned, yeah, the same question. I think it's in Spanish here. ¿Cómo puedo integrar los datos de piso de planta vía InduSoft 8.0 a SAP bidireccionalmente, producción, logística, mantenimiento, and so on? So pretty much the question is how to integrate InduSoft Web Studio to SAP. To make this template more generic, I didn't include in the template an interface to SAP, but I have customers, and we worked with customers using this template that interface with SAP. So again, it's an application for InduSoft, so you can customize and enhance or modify the application. But typically, the interface with SAP is done in one of the following ways. First, in SAP, you export information like the work orders, the manufacturing orders, to a file, usually a CSV file, a text file, a XML file, something like that. And in InduSoft, we have tools and some functions to import information, to read information from those files. So it's very typical, for example, every day before the beginning of the first shift, SAP dumps the production scheduling to a file, and then InduSoft can go there, read the information from this file, save into the database, and operate the scheduling, the work orders according to that file. Other methods that have been used as well is database sharing. So SAP automatically pushes the information to a database, and InduSoft reads from the database. Another method I used in the past was using an API from SAP called BAPI from SAP, which is an ActiveX control. And InduSoft Web Studio is an ActiveX control container, so it can use this ActiveX control to exchange, in that case was recipe information with SAP. And finally, in some other cases, we configured InduSoft to consume web services from SAP to collect the data. And I have not been involved, but I am aware as well that there is an OPC server for SAP, and InduSoft Web Studio has a built-in native OPC client. So you could use the OPC client from InduSoft to exchange information, communicate with SAP. Since SAP is a configurable system, you need to do some configuration in SAP as you need to do configuration in InduSoft. But in InduSoft, you have all the tools in an open architecture to communicate with SAP or any other ERP system using any one of the methods that I just described. Let's see, another question here is, I utilize SPC throughout my production facility. Some of it is automatic sample measurements, and some of it is manual. How could the implementation of Andon annunciation in the dashboard help my facility? In many different ways. First, this Andon interface is a template built on top of InduSoft Web Studio, so you can customize it. So all the information that the user is manually reporting there is being automatically saved into the database, and all the user actions, like, for instance, if I come here to safety, click here in safety, pick a issue, and report the issue, I expose in the template a function that you can configure in InduSoft and call this function. So you can say whenever this bit from the PLC goes to 1, you pretty much simulate what I just did. Whenever this bit from the PLC goes to 1, it means there is a safety issue with this reason. Every time that PLC bit goes to 0, it means it was acknowledged or that it was fixed as well. So everything that is ready to use in the Andon template from a manual way can be very easily triggered automatically by bits in the PLC or robot or any other external system. And all this information is being saved into a database. So in addition to the standard dashboards that I designed here, you can use InduSoft or any other system to query the data from the database and display this information along with any other information from your plant and create your reports. So for many cases, this Andon application is 100% of what the customer needs and wants. It's a complete Andon system. In other cases, it's a stepping stone, is a very good start, and you can customize it and augment with additional requirements from your specific customer. Is there a case study that features the Andon template? Not yet. Most of the customers that use this template, first, it's relatively new. It has just a few months, but it has been successfully deployed in large facilities, in large customers, and we have not received the approval to share, to use their names in the case studies yet, usually because large corporations are not very open to provide information, especially when it's regarding lean manufacturing and what provides an edge from them, a competitive edge for them in the production facility. But it is, in fact, a real template that has been successfully deployed in different plants, and on a case-by-case basis, we can get the customers to talk on our behalf with the proper NDAs and so on. Will InduSoft publish this template in our website? Yes, we're working on the web page as we speak. The template is already available, so for anybody that wants to purchase the template right now, we can provide it. And hopefully in a few days or a few weeks, we'll have the web page ready, and it will be ready to download from the website. We make it available just like the other templates, like the BI dashboard template. It's just an add-on, and in order to run the template, you just need to purchase the standard InduSoft Web Studio application. This template uses less than 1,500 tags, so a local interface license for 1,500 tags is enough to run the template, and pay an additional fee of $500 to enable the template itself. So you just have to acquire the InduSoft license plus the template license. Another question, can the template be user modified with the development environment as long as the user developer does not interfere with the runtime customization features? Yes, and that's exactly what you described there. It is an application from InduSoft, so it's somehow open, but everything that we want to keep evolving, we pretty much protected with passwords, so that's locked. But we provide interfaces so you can easily merge this template application into your own application, and from your application, call functions from this template and vice versa. So you can customize in a way that in the future, when I come with a newer version of the template, I can send the new template to you, and you can again merge to your application and not break what is already working there. So let's see if there are other questions. Can the Andon application be used with the BI dashboard? How would this help my facility? Yes, the templates are not mutually exclusive. So I have, InduSoft has the BI dashboard template as well, available to download from the website, which is a generic template to query data from the databases and show charts, pie charts, Paretos, any kind of dashboards and reports. So you can use this Andon application in conjunction with the BI dashboard template. And this one provides all the Andon capabilities, and the BI dashboard provides additional reports and additional customizable dashboards and reports and charts, querying data from the database, either the Andon data or any other data that you have in the computer. So again, the beauty of the templates is that they can either be used as standalone individual applications as they are, and in many, many cases, they provide all the features that fulfill the requirements from the customers. But when it's not the case, at least it saves a lot of time on the development of a more complete set of functionality. It provides an initial set of functionalities, and then you can augment it. You can build on top of that, either combining with other templates or combining with your own customized application. Going back to the second slide is the concept of solution in layers, right? We can keep adding different templates in your application, and one does not break the other. Very well. It looks like we covered all the questions. So with that, I would like to once again thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for your business and your partnership with InduSoft. Hopefully the presentation was useful for you. And if you have any additional questions in the future, please feel free to contact us. With that, have a great one and hope to see you again in the next webinar. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.